Welcome everyone to the Red Raider Report and Don Williams. We're going to talk real quick about the Texas A&M game, and then we're going to go into the Kansas game. Let's start first. Texas Tech, they go to College Station. They win 43-25. And let's start with some questions for you. The key to Texas Tech's win in that game against the Aggies.
Well, a couple of things. One is that they did not panic when they were down at halftime. I mean, you come out and you have some bad things happen to you. You give up 23 points, which the defense is not really accustomed to this season. Then they go into the locker room at halftime, and everyone said, Mike Leach did not chew them out. Told everybody to relax and said just play like you've been practicing on Wednesday, and good things will happen in the second half, and it did. Also, they had seventh week in a row they incorporated the running backs and had more than 100 yards rushing. So it was the kind of balance that Mike Leach likes. All of those skill position players contributed, and they've done
the running backs have done a great job on that all year. What was the key play for you in Texas Tech's win?
There wasn't really that one big play, very much unlike the week before against Nebraska, in which there was a big play that set up every single touchdown. This week there wasn't much of a big play. The key was, though, I thought two particular points in the game. One, immediately after halftime, momentum's up for grabs, and probably really the Aggies have the momentum, but Tech takes it coming right out of the locker room at halftime, goes about 80 yards, sticks it in the end zone to take the lead 27-23. And then one other key segment was early fourth quarter, when it's about a 30-23 game. I've been critical of this team in the past for, at times, even when they've been clicking on offense, going 3 and out at really bad times. They did that the week before against Nebraska. Early fourth quarter in this game, when the Aggies are still in it, Tech gets the ball back deep in its own territory again, goes length of the field, sticks it in the end zone for a touchdown, and it's pretty much game over at that point.
Right. Key point out of this game has to be they're 7-0.
They're 7-0. They're still undefeated. They're number 8 in the BCS, and the other thing, though, is I think they show again that they're able to. They show some experience and some poise for the second week in a row. A game that they potentially, there were circumstances there where they could have lost that game, and they responded at the key junctures.
All right, and now the big boy portion of the schedule starts, Don. Now we're going to find out how good Texas Tech is. There is no more hiding. It starts really, and you have to almost say this is going to be their toughest game right now. At Lawrence, Kansas against Kansas. This is a good football team. What does Tech have to do to win in Lawrence?
I think a couple things. One, start fast. Be effective early, because I think you want to. Anytime you go on the road, even though I don't think Memorial Stadium in Lawrence, Kansas is a very intimidating environment, but anytime that you go on the road, you need to do everything you can to defuse the crowd, take crowd out of the game, and not let anything bad happen to you early. So there's a key, and then the other key is Tech's pass defense obviously has been a trouble spot this year. And you're going to face, hands down, the best passing game that you've seen so far. It's not just Todd Reesing, who's an outstanding quarterback as he showed last year, but you have Kerry Meyer, a converted quarterback who leads the conference in receptions per game. I don't know when the last time somebody who's not a Tech receiver led the conference in that category. He leads in receptions per game. He's been just on fire the last month or so. And then Desmond Briscoe on the other side. Last week against Oklahoma had 12 catches, 269 yards. He is third in the league in receiving yardage per game. So it's the best 1-2 combo that Tech has faced this year. They got to defend the pass this week, or they're in trouble.
Okay, and speaking of getting in trouble, what does Mark Mangino and the Jayhawks need to do to win that game over Tech?
Well, I think for them, it's do exactly what we just said Tech can't allow to happen. They need to incorporate Meyer and Briscoe, put the pressure on Tech. And then I think the other thing is they, after early in the year not running the ball very much, 2 of the last 3 weeks, Jake Sharp has had 100-yard games. And I think they need to, if they can make the running game effective and force Tech safeties and outside linebackers to respect and have to defend the run, then that's going to make Tech really vulnerable to giving up those big pass plays. So I think from a KU standpoint, it's not just incorporate your big weapons on the outside, but suck Tech in by running the ball effectively early.
Okay, and this will be actually the first game Tech will face a ranked opponent. And the key question is, the national critics this week seem to be jumping on the opposite bandwagon of the Red Raiders. Does the streak end in Lawrence, Kansas, Don?
I think these next 4 games, Tech's going to play obviously 4 ranked teams in a row. I said at the beginning of the season, I think Tech will go 10-2 this year. I will stick with that. I'm not sure. I think they will go 2-2 over these next 4 games. I don't know which 2. I'm not saying which 2 will be the wins and which 2 will be the losses, but Kansas is clearly the lowest ranked team of these next 4. And this is also a place where Tech's had success in the past. Since the Big 12 began, they won the game up there in '96, in 2000, again in 2004. So I'll say the streak doesn't end. Tech goes to 8-0 this Saturday.
Okay, and we'll finish up the last minute here real quick. I want to get Don's thoughts on the Big 12 conference games this week, and we'll just run through the list and build down to the important one. Baylor at Nebraska. Who do you like there?
I got to go with Nebraska in that one. Baylor was really hot there for about a month or so, and then Nebraska's done some good things the last couple of weeks with what they I think kind of picked up where they left off here in Lubbock, and responded and bounced back last week after a tough loss for a 35-7 win. So I like Nebraska at home this week.
Okay, and the next couple there, I think we both probably expect Oklahoma to hold face at Kansas State in Manhattan against the Wildcats.
Yeah, that's Oklahoma obviously by as much as they want. This one could be ugly.
Does Missouri get back on track hosting Colorado in Columbia?
I think they do. Last year, Missouri just destroyed Colorado 55-10. If they can do that in Boulder, then certainly I think that they can do it in Columbia.
And then Iowa State, Texas A&M, maybe those 2 teams' last chance for a win this season. That's a kind of an odd statement when you talk about Texas A&M.
Yeah, flip a coin there. I'll go with the home team. I've said several times this year that I think Gene Chizik has had Iowa State's guys playing hard even when they've lost games. So I think this could be a reward game for them on Saturday. I'll take the Cyclones.
Okay, and then the big one, Oklahoma State at Texas, 2 undefeated teams. Does the Texas miracle continue against the Oklahoma State Cowboys?
I think we disagree on this one a little bit. The Horns are playing obviously fantastic ball. They're playing as good a football as anybody in the country right now. I don't think that they can sustain it every week for the rest of the season, but I do think that Texas, particularly playing at home, that they will handle Oklahoma State, knock Oklahoma State from the unbeaten ranks. And of course, if this game follows its history,
right.
Don't turn the channel whenever
at halftime.
At halftime,
even if Oklahoma State's up 35-0, don't turn the channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they have in their recent history they get the Horns down big early and then lose.
Collapse. All right, guys, that's that's a brief look at those 2 games. I want you to check back Friday on Lubbock Online and RedRaiders.com. We're going to break down the Kansas Jayhawks in a little bit more depth. And I'm Zach Long for Don Williams. We'll see you right back here Friday on the Red Raider Report.